Let's get going. All right, we're recording. Okay, so this is what we're working on tonight. It's a dream catcher, and you're kind of getting a weird angle with the danglies. I know you can't see it all. My arms aren't that long. I've used a lot of flying unicorn metal adornments on this. And just so you know, you can use obviously a lot of different products to make it. But I'm going to show you with what I've used. So I'm going to put this aside so I can see it and don't forget anything. And I just want to remind you a couple announcements before we get started. Next week on Wednesday, on the 8th, again at 9 o'clock, Delana will be here with you, sharing another wonderful project. I can't wait to see it. As well, don't forget that the supplies that I use on my project tonight are 10% off in the store. Just when you go into the store, just click on the Ustream special tab, and that will bring up all the products that I'm using. You get an extra 10% off on all of those. So I'm going to turn the camera down, and we're going to get started because we got a lot to do. Okay, so just bear with me. And too far. Oh, sorry guys. I want to try and get it adjusted as best as I can. Somewhat better. All right, so we're going to start off with some wet stuff tonight. This is a wire trim. I believe it's May Arts, and it actually comes in this color. It comes in several colors, but this one here is natural. And what I did is I've already sprayed it because some of this stuff takes a while to dry, and I really just figured it would be easier to just get it done. So what I did is I took some of the Lynne Stamp Gang Starburst Spray in Wake Me Up Before You Go Gold. It's a beautiful color. And all I did was just spray here and there. I didn't spray the whole thing. Okay. Now the other thing that I also sprayed is some canvas ribbon. And I believe this is May Arts as well. This also comes in a natural color, and unfortunately I don't think you can really see what its original color was because, again, I sprayed that with some Lindy's, and this time I used the Moonshadow Mist in Long John Silver. It's a gorgeous color. It's got a little bit of a grayy blue in it, a little bit of a taupe, but I just wanted it to not look so natural, kind of distressed basically. And it does have some shimmer in it, which is really great. So let me put that aside. And then the last thing that we're going to spray is some petaloo flowers, and I love my petaloo flowers. I love, love, love them. So these are burlap blossoms in apricot, and I used 2 of them, and I just sprayed them a little bit. Let me get rid of that. And again, I used Lynne Stamp Gang in Hagswort Orange, and I didn't do a lot of spraying. Just a few touches here and there, and you can see my bottle. I've had issues with this bottle. Need to replace the sprayer. I think it's the only one I've had that many issues with. But it's working tonight, so that's a good thing. So there you go. That's it. Just a touch of orange. And I decided to go with orange because orange is the color that I have in my bedroom, and that's where this is going. So I'm going to put this aside and let it dry, and we'll get going. So what I did is I was looking for a wire hoop, and I couldn't find one anywhere around me. So I ended up buying a plastic embroidery hoop. This one here is 10 inches wide. Around, I should say. And I'm just going to take off the top part that holds your fabric in, and I'm just going to get rid of that because we don't need it. So this is your embroidery hoop. For this size hoop, you're going to need a minimum of 2 yards if you're using a wide fabric like this, which is 2 inches. Okay, so you need at least 2 yards, and I might even be pushing my luck on that one. It's a little touchy. So I'm just going to take my piece that's already been misted, okay, and I'm just going to basically do the easy thing and just glue it down. And this is just our beginning point. So then I'm going to start wrapping it around. Really easy peasy to do. And I'm scrunching it and twisting it, and I'm not paying attention to it being straight. I don't want it to be straight. I just want it to wrap all the way around, and I'm scrunching it. And I'm going to try and stay in camera to do this. But you can see there's no rhyme or reason to how I'm doing this, really. I just want to cover the whole piece. So scrunching is best. It actually looks best. And I'm pretty sure that this would actually look a lot better if I had perhaps a thinner frame as opposed to the thickness of this embroidery hoop, but it works. I'm just going to keep wrapping around. This and the next part is what's going to take the longest amount of time, and it's not because it's difficult to do. And you can see, because of how I misted, especially here, you can see the difference. This is more the natural color right there. And I could have left it like that. I just wanted extra color in there. But you can see how easy so far this is. So we'll keep wrapping. Just bear with me. It won't take too much longer. Once again, if you're just joining, I don't have chat, so if you have a question that no one else can answer, you can click the button, the menu button, and go to Social Stream, and I can see if you put anything there. Oh. Try to untwist it a little bit here. Obviously, it's easier as the piece gets shorter. And I don't mind if there's bits of thread hanging off of it. I think it just kind of adds to the charm. And then once you've reached all the way around, just glue it in place. And cut off your excess. And I'm going to try and cut it so that you can't see the excess hanging off the back. And that's it. So I had a little bit extra. Not a lot. So that's it. You just want to wrap it around. Alright, the next phase is actually making the web inside. And for that, I'm using May Arts again. This is paper cord. And this is a gray color. That's the colors in my room. Orange and gray. And I've got it here approximately 5 yards. You might not use that much, and you might use more. And I'm just going to tie it on just with a regular knot. It doesn't matter where you start. Okay, if I could actually tie a knot, it would be really good. Alright, and I'm going to decide which part I want towards the back. So that's going to be my back. I'm going to pull that knot to the back, and then I'm just going to glue the end of it. I am using a hot glue gun. You can use Fabri-Tac, Beacon 3-in-1, whatever glue you like that will hold very strongly. Okay, I think I need to put a new glue stick in my glue gun if it will stay. Alright, so you're going to start by putting your piece, just pull yourself a piece of a length of the cord, pull it towards the back. Okay, now I'm going to use the bundle, and I'm going to pull the bundle, and I'm going to push it right through. Sorry, I'm trying to hold it and do this at the same time. Let's try that again. Alright, so that's basically what I have here. It's a little loop. I'm going from the back. Now I'm coming around to the front, and I'm pushing it through that loop. and pulling it towards the back. And again, it's a lot easier once your piece is shorter. All right. And that's that. So you're going to go around and you're going to continue to do that. And I'm going to loosen it up a little bit just so I can get this bundle in there. And you want to go around roughly about 8 times on your start. Roughly. And the one thing I do like about this part is that if you're too tight or too loose, you can go back. Whoops. You can go back and fix it. You can loosen it or tighten it. Now, one of the things you probably need to know about the paper cord, you can pull on it quite a bit, but if you're not careful, you can also tear it because, after all, it is paper. Okay, but I'm pulling pretty tightly here. And I'm just going to keep doing that. And this takes a few minutes. Like I said, this is the longest part. And I'm roughly even here, so we'll keep going. So I'm pushing my main piece to the back. Let's try and loosen it up a little bit here. Pushing it towards the back of the frame. I'm holding it there and then putting the rest of it in through there. And then that's where you can figure out where you want it. Okay. For this here, you need, I don't know if I said it already or not, you need roughly 5 yards of fabric. Now, once you've gotten around, you're not going to go back up here at the original start point. You're going to go into this loop now. So I'm going to hold it there. Again, I'm behind. All right, I hope you can see that. And I'm going to go through this here towards the back. And that's going to start making your web. And oh boy, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get the right angle here. Oh, I did something wrong, guys. Hang on a second. I think I need to get rid of the loopy thing. Hang on, we'll get it going. Okay. I'm going through this piece here. So let's pull the piece out from the back. Difficult to see. It'll get a little bit easier as the loops start pulling in. Okay? So again, I'm going to take this piece in behind and I'm going to pull it through. And it's caught under my chair. Ah. Okay. So can you see it starting to form there? So again, we're going to go to the next main loop. We're going to go in behind and we're going to pull through. I think I'm doing something wrong, you guys. I am. Pull through underneath. That's what I'm doing wrong. Just bear with me. There we go. That's better. All right. Back around. Pull it through. And then pull it through here. It's okay. We'll hide the other part with the flowers. There we go. That's much better. All right. So here, maybe if I turn it this way. Pull it through here and then back to where you started. It's really easy once you get it going to just do this. But because I'm trying to do it on camera, it's not working as well as I want it to. Okay, come on. It never fails. That's always the way it goes. So again, I'm just going to pull it tightly. All right. And like I said, it does get much easier as your piece of cord or twine or whatever you're using gets shorter. So up from the back and through the loop you just made. There we go. All right, I need to tighten this one and then tighten that one. And if you do use the paper twine and it breaks on you, you can just knot it up. Just put a knot in it. It won't really show that much because you can hide that too. All right, and I'm on the last loop right here. From the first row. I'm going back through here. All right, and now I'm going to go through the next row of loops. So from the back, and through the loop you just made. All right, and the same thing all the way around till you get to the circle, or to the middle, I should say. There's my loop. And it doesn't have to be like totally centered. You're basically making a web, and I don't know of any spider webs that are perfectly even. Move that one over a little bit. And pull tight. So I hope you're getting the idea of how to do this. Once we get to a shorter piece, it'll be easier for you to see. Unfortunately, you got to start with the big piece. Oops. Can you see how it's forming the web? I hope so. Really simple technique. And I have a knot. That's okay, we'll fix that. And again, you just keep going around and around until you pretty much run out of room. I'm not worrying about the knot right now, simply because it's just a shorter piece I'm working with, and it's making it easier. Okay. And you do get from where you first started this odd shape. And on this one here, I didn't think about that. When I put the flowers down, I really should have had the flowers over here just to cover that up so you can see the web a lot better. But I didn't think about that. Okay, where am I here? I'm right here. Okay. Let's see if that was... going through. And back through the loop I just made. Really simple technique. Oh my gosh, it keeps rolling under my chair. Okay, and you just keep going through all the loops that you made in the previous row. That's all it is. And pulling tightly as you go. And again with the chair, crying out loud. Oh, another loop. All right, this one I have to fix. That's the only problem with working with a long length of twine or cord or anything else. You're going to wind up with knots somewhere along the way. Okay, again, back through the loops and down through the one you just made. And pull tightly. Kind of wish I'd have done this ahead of time. Just showed you a little piece, but that's okay. I'm sure it's exciting. Now see how loose my loop is here? That's okay. I can fix that. Just tighten it up, that's all. And you can tighten it as much as you feel you need to. It's a little too loose there still. But I don't want to push on it or pull on it too much right now. Alright. Can you see the web forming? I hope so. Through the next loop. And that's all you're doing, all the way around, until you get to the very middle. And then once you do get to the middle, then you're just going to tie it off. And I did add a dab of hot glue to my knot. I just made sure that it was on the back side so it wouldn't show so much. Here I am trying to use other colors, but I think you would have seen the white much better. Okay, can you get the idea of what's happening here? Okay, so again, through the next loop. And we're actually almost done, believe it or not. I don't think this one is near as tight as the last one that I made, but it still works. You'd definitely want to take your time with it so that your knots are tighter than mine are. And because I'm trying really hard to stay in frame here. My hands are like too far away from where I need them to be. It's easier when you're working it close up. Once you get to the middle, more towards the end, obviously, and we're almost there, you're going to have to make a decision about how you want to finish it off so it does have like a central piece. I just kind of winged it. It's not perfect. It doesn't need to be. Okay, you can see if I pull it tight. All right. It really does stretch itself out. And it's really starting to come together in the middle. A few more and we're done with this part. And I'm actually going to skip this one. This should be the next loop I go into, but just because I'm getting towards the middle, I'm going to skip that one. And just go on to the next one. And you're really not going to notice it once it's all finished. And again, I'm going to skip this one again. And that's totally up to you. You can go through all of them and it'll be more like a web. But with the flowers on it, you're not going to see all of it as well. So it really doesn't matter. And I'm actually going to do one more, I think. Maybe two. And that'll be that. Yeah, one more. So I'm just going to go across. Just to finish it off. Okay, here's my last loop. I'm going to go here instead of going back through here. Just do the same thing. And go through my loop. And there's my center. I'm going to turn it over. And I'm going to actually cut this piece off so I can knot it better. I'm just going to go around one of the spokes, I guess you could call it, and pull it tight. And I'm going to make another knot just to hold it in place. You don't have to do that. And I'm going to put a dab of hot glue just on the back of it, just so I know it's not going to come undone. Okay, and then cut off your ends. So that is pretty simple, just a little bit time consuming. But you can see it really does look like a web. I wonder if I take this off. No, that's not going to be any better. Okay, so this is my starting point right here. You can't see that. Right here. Okay, you can see because there's not a cross piece here. So I'm going to try and hide that on this one here. Okay, so I'm going to put my thing down, and the first thing I'm going to do is add my danglies. And I definitely want those more towards the bottom. Okay, so what I'm using here is the mesh ribbon, and this one is in gray. And I'm just going to make 2 slits in the ribbon. Sorry, I got to keep, my computer keeps wanting to go into sleep mode. So I've got a couple slits, and I'm just going to pull it apart. I'm just going to tear it. That's all I want to do. I want it to be kind of shredded looking, I guess is what I'm saying. Oh, there's a little piece. Let's take the other one. I think I cut it too close. And I don't care if they're the same length. I actually would prefer it if they're not. So I'm just tearing it off. Okay, so I've got 3 pieces, 1 short one and 2 long ones. Okay, and then I also happen to have a couple extra pieces of the paper cord. So I'm going to take, because I know that I'm going to want, well, let's see, where's my starting point? Right here, and I want to make sure that's covered up. I'm going to take a piece of cardboard that I've already cut, and I'm going to glue it to the back side here. Now it's going to be covered. You're not going to see it. Okay. Oh, hot. Hot, hot, hot. I'm just going to glue it on there, and then I'm going to glue my torn strips right over top of it. Not really paying any mind to exactly how. I don't care if they overlap. I really need to lift this up. And where's the third one? Right here. Okay, so now that's pushed down. Now I want to take 3 pieces of the cord, okay, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put glue on top here and just glue in 3 pieces of cord. And I'm doing that basically because I'm working on a web, so I don't really have much of anywhere to glue. You could glue it on the web and then go in afterwards. And where's my third piece? I had a third piece. There it is. Just glue from the back side. But I also want to put a flower on top of this, so I'm going to take another piece of cardboard and I'm going to glue it right on top. Just like that. And that starts the danglies. Okay, there they are right there. Alright, so we're going to finish the flowers first, and then we're going to move on to decorating the danglies. We need for that to stay. So we do have our 2 burlap blossoms from Petaloo that we sprayed, and they're basically going to go something like this. And I also have, these are brand new. Sorry, you're getting glare. Let me take it out of the package. This is Petaloo. It's called Burlap Bird's Nest Flower. These are so gorgeous. They're absolutely beautiful. Hope you can see that. They're fuller than these. All right, now this is going to go about right there. So I only need 1 of those. I also have more Petaloo. Apparently I really like Petaloo. This is called the Flowering Vine Spray. This is one of my favorite vines. And I'm going to take this one here, and I'm just going to cut it. I'm going to cut it right into the flower here. Okay. And then I need at least 1 more piece, and let's see which one. I think I'm going to take this one down here. So I have 3 little flowers. Okay, now we need to move on to the metal flowers, and I need to find the right package. Okay, this is the Flying Unicorn Metal Adornments, And I do have, is it this one? No, it's not that one. Wrong one. This one here is Country Garden. And some of the flowers are already made for you, which I really like that. And this is just, it's really gorgeous flower. Love that. And you could always add to it. I will. I'm going to add some gesso to it. That one's going to go here. Now, you know, you can see I have nothing right here to hold that flower in, but I'm going to put it there anyways. I'm going to glue it in place. And then out of the My Garden package, I'm going to take, actually using a lot of these, just going to mix it up. I'm going to take these two flower blooms, I guess you would call it, and I'm going to form them into somewhat of a bud. So all I'm doing is I'm going to lift my piece, okay? I hope you can see that. I've just lifted it up. Can you see that? Yeah. And then I'm going to give it a slight twist towards the outside. And I'm going to do that with all my piece, with all the petals. So I'm lifting and twisting, lifting and twisting, lifting and twisting, lifting and twisting. And this last one here has got to go inside the first one. And then once I've got them lifted and twisted, I'm just going to push them all in towards the center. And that's going to create a little blossom. I hope you can see that. Okay, so that's one. We need to make two. So again, lift and twist. So you're twisting it towards the outside, basically. All right, and then I'm going to push them in. Now you would take more time than I will to do this. Okay? Doesn't want to stay up. And I'm going to actually glue this into another flower from Country Garden, which is this one here. This is one of my favorites. And I'm just going to glue it to the center. That's going to be one of my flowers. I'm going to use hot glue. You definitely want to use something stronger than that because this is metal. It's not going to hold for any length of time. I did use Fabri-Tac, I think, on the other one. All right, so we've got our flowers. This one's going to go right here, and it's going to cover up that cardboard piece. That one's going to go there, kind of like this, kind of like that. Okay. What else do I need? I guess that's it. We can start gluing. All right, so I am going to put, again, a piece of cardboard. We'll start with this one here. And I'm going to glue that to my cardboard. All right, I'm going to glue my white flower. I want this one lifted up a little bit, so I'm going to glue it to a piece of cardboard. And then I'm going to glue it down right next to my flower that I just put down. Okay, and that's on there pretty good, and I've got glue everywhere, and that's okay because I'm going to flip it over and put another piece of cardboard on top of it. And that's just to hold it in place because you're dealing with, you know, a narrow spot. All right. And of course I've got glue webs everywhere. And then let's see, I think I want my largest bloom here. That one I definitely want to raise up. So I'm going to give it a couple pieces of cardboard to raise it up. Ow, that's hot. And I'm going to glue that one right here. And then this one here needs a piece of cardboard. I'm running out of glue because the glue stick won't stay in there. Let's see. All right, and gluing that on the web itself too. Turn it over. and glue more pieces of cardboard to the back just to hold them together. You're not going to see these. If it really bothers you, you can do it without the cardboard. You know, like if you want to hang it somewhere where you might see it on the back side, it can be done. It's just not going to look quite the same. Now, I'm going to put, while I'm on the back side, I'm going to put a piece of cardboard right about here, just so I have something to glue my metal flower to. I'm just going to hold that down for a second and flip it over. It's not a huge piece, and I am going to kind of sort of flip up my leaves on this bloom and glue it in place. And again, on the metal, you probably definitely want, oh, stay. You probably definitely want to use something stronger than hot glue. Okay? Now, my little tiny blossom, or it's not really that tiny, is going to go right in here. So I'm just going to just kind of stack it on the piece of cardboard, just so it's just barely peeking out. And then I need to figure out where I want these. So I'm thinking something like this. Right there. Maybe this one's sticking out a little bit more. So I'm going to hold them together and just cut. Yeah, that's pretty good. Put some glue on there. So far, really simple, right? And just put it underneath my flower. And I'm going to let them dry before I move them. And then this one here is going to go, oh, right about here. That might be too long. I think this one's too long, but that's okay. And again, I'm just going to push it underneath the flower. I'm going to add a little bit of glue just to hold it on the hoop where I want it. Well, a little bit, so much for that. It's okay, it'll be covered. Okay, let's try that again. Got tons of glue strings here. Okay, so basically I've got all my flowers in place. Okay, so this is my top, this is my bottom. Oh, I have a piece of the cord is coming undone, so I'm going to glue that in behind. Just bear with me for a second. Just so it doesn't come totally undone. Okay. And once you've got your flowers in where you want them, of course, you can start shaping them. Alright. Now, I wanted to use some of the lace, the Venice lace that we carry in the store. This is absolutely gorgeous. And I noticed that once I cut them apart, it kind of had a real, like, Native American feel to it. So I cut a bunch of them. Let's see here. Let's get one that's really cool. It's kind of got that look towards it. Alright, so I just cut them. That's all. And I just glued them here and there on the frame. So let's just start with that. I did glue them completely down. For now, I'm just going to place them where I think they need to be, and I'll just go back through and fix them, glue the rest of it down. Okay, now these are a little bit higher than they are on my original, so what I'll do is I'll just add a third one here and then only do 2 at the bottom instead of what I did here, which was 2 at the top and 3 at the bottom. Okay, let's move that out of the way. This flower needs to be pushed in a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to add, lift this up, and I'm going to add one of the pieces of lace right here. And another one right about there. I just like the look of it. You don't have to do that. That's totally up to you. You could certainly add more in between your flowers. Alright, let me see if I can get some of this glue off of here. Okay, so now I did add more flowers. Again from Petaloo, these are Mulberry Street paper flowers, and this is mini delphiniums. The combination is fuchsia, orange, yellow, and lavender. I kind of pretty much stuck to the fuchsia and the orange flowers just because I thought that's what would look best. Don't need that many. Just a few here and there. Okay, and I'm going to just start gluing them in place here and there in between my flowers. And I'm going to try and any spots where there's, you can see the cardboard, I'm going to try and cover that up. I'm also going to add some here in the middle, one there. I'll probably want to add one, at least one right here. Stick it underneath my lace. Maybe another one right here. I mean, obviously it's not going to be exactly the same as the other one. It's kind of difficult to do that. Pull my flower up a little bit. Twisted it really well. It wants to stay. Okay, so that's the basis of, and you can add more, like I said, if you wanted to. Maybe I'll add one there. And these here, because they are paper, they don't weigh very much, so you really don't need to have cardboard underneath it. But the rest of the flowers and the metal flowers that we made, they do need a little bit of extra support. Okay? Trying to get rid of the glue strings. Let's move that flower out of the way. And then we're going to go to the danglies. And I need to move some stuff out. Alright, so I'm going to turn it this way so you can see it. And you can make these, obviously, as long or as short as you want. Got a knot in this one here. Okay, get rid of that little piece. You know, decide how long you want it. So I know that I want to cut one of these long ones here. So let me cut it about there. And I'll leave the other one long. And on these here, I'm just going to eyeball it. And as long as they're not all the same length, that's basically what you're looking at. Now, for these here, I did go through and I took some of this wired trim. I think it's called wired trim with butterflies. I think that's what it's called. I could be wrong. And I just cut it apart into, you know, sections of 2, sections of 3. And I'll just cut a few, just so you can get the idea of what you need to do. Alright. And I just pretty much just wrapped them around. And just like a twist tie, just twisted it on there. And I did, some of them I did 1 or 2 of them on there. And for others, I did 3. You know, up to you again, how much you want. Like this one here only really needs 1 because it's a short one. And then maybe some bigger pieces on the really long piece. And you know, the metal pieces that stick out, you can always cut those off. And let's see here. I think I'm going to do one more here. And I did add a couple pieces in between my flowers as well on the top. We can do that after. But the main thing was that I did go through and add some more of the embellishments from the country garden, my garden, and I also took some of the locks from the locket collection. So you can pick whatever you like. I'm going to go with, let's just dump everything out. I'm going to go with, let's see here. I want the big leaf, so I'm going to put that on one of these. And it does have a hole at the top, so I'm just going to run my cord, and I got to do it with this hand, through there. And just made a knot. Just one simple knot. And of course, if you want to, you can, glue it down. Where's my scissors? You don't have to. You can cut your length as long as you want. That's up to you. I believe I took one of the locks for the longest one. And again, that's pretty much all I'm doing. For my longest piece of the mesh trim, I pretty much just glued two of these like little medallions in between, or around the mesh, I guess I should say. Hope you can see that. Okay, so there's two, they're back to back. And I just kept adding on some of them. Actually, where's the short piece here? I have a short piece. On one of these, I did add more in the middle so that I could have more danglies. Danglies are good. I've got another leaf. You could go through and add more of your paper flowers on there. Just sandwich in your cord or your mesh. Okay, let's see. I have another one here. I need a leaf. I'm going to move the loose stuff out of the way. And I do want to add a leaf. I'm thinking right in here. Right there. And that's pretty much it, guys. Just want to make sure. Okay. So yeah, that's it. Pretty simple, right? And like I said, you can add as much or as little as you want. Beads would look really pretty on your danglies. It's kind of hard to show it to you, the whole thing. But it really looks really nice hanging up. And that's it. That's how simple that was to do. I don't know if you have any questions or not. If you do, like I said, you can ask them on the social stream, or one of the other ladies can answer your question. But that's pretty much it. So I'm going to turn the camera back up so it's facing me, and hopefully I get it right this time. Yay! I did. A little crooked, but here we are. There we go. All right, so let's see. If I hold it up, if you can see it. I got an idea. Hang on. There you go. That's slightly better. And you can see how long my danglies are. That piece of mesh is roughly a yard long. So again, that's it. Like I said, if you have a question, ask me on the social stream, or Alda and the other ladies from the team can answer your questions. Aside from that, don't forget, all the supplies that I used tonight are 10% off in the store. Click on the Ustream special tab, and that will bring up all the items that I've used tonight. As well, don't forget that Delana will be here next week, next Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. And I can't wait to see her show as well. And that's it. So have a great night. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate your support. And I'll see you next time. Bye.